Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is my review for Alien Earth, Episode 7.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
Okay, so we'll get the elephant out of the room. My voice is on the way out, so I don't know how long this review is going to last.
Bullshit.
To be quite honest with you. But we are on episode 7 of 8, the penultimate episode of this season, and it doesn't look like we're going to get a full resounding wrap-up of every single arc going, so I'm fully expecting we're going to get more seasons of this. Or at least one more, I would think, anyway. This episode is a bit of a fractured sort of plot kind of episode. Everybody's running around doing different things. Every character's sort of moving on their respective arcs to try and wrap up what it is they're doing and where they're going and what's going to happen to them. And it's a little bit messy at times. There's a few things that are still going on that just dumbfound narrative logic and just downright don't make any sense and look a bit goofy, and yet there's other things that are interesting still. The eye octopus remains the most compelling thing about this show. The T-Oculus, Ocellus, or whatever it is.
You stuttering prick, you!
I can't remember what it's called, that's why I call it the eye octopus, because it just tickles me. That is the most compelling thing about this entire show. Everything else with the Xenomorph, and I'll get into the spoilers here, in the Xenomorph becoming almost like a pet, or I don't know, a weapon, a tool, just it isn't ringing well with me. I don't like it. I mentioned it a few episodes about the situation where we're gonna get into the Xenomorph almost being like Blue from fucking Jurassic World, and that's pretty much where we are at this point with this episode. It's listening to commands, it's doing as it's told. There's no fear, there's no horror, there's no tension. It's just being told to eviscerate people, and it is doing. And I don't think that's interesting, and I also don't think it looks very good as well. It's hyper violent what happens. Essentially, Weyland-Yutani comes to the island a little bit into the episode, and along with Mr. Morrow, and they're there to collect the assets as it is. They're there to obtain one of the Xenomorphs. So we had it in the previous episode where Slightly is, he's calling to that doctor, and that doctor gets, the facehugger. Smee stumbles across this in Slightly's room, and he agrees to help him reluctantly to move this doctor across the jungle. Eventually, the chest burster comes out, terrifies both of them, and they lose it. They lose the Xenomorph. So there we have another Xenomorph running around in the jungle, and you're thinking, great, here we are. We've got another aspect, something that's going to change up the dynamics for the final episode. There's going to be a Xenomorph that nobody's accounted for. It's going to cause shit. No, they capture it straight away. They just capture it straight away. Literally this thing that blitzes off at immense speed into the wilderness of this massive island jungle, and somehow, some way, it is captured within 5 minutes of being loose by a really tiny fucking net.
Alrighty then.
Fucking hell. This is a creature that got loose on the Nostromo, a ship full of sensors and diagnostic equipment and mining tools, and it eviscerated the entire crew, without them being able to track it fully. Give me a fucking break. Like, it's convenience, plot convenience at its finest. And immediately you're like, well, where's the fucking, where's the tension, where's the mystery, what are we doing here, why is any of this really happening?
I don't know.
And then we have this whole sort of plot about Wendy practically walks in while they're picking up Toodle's body, and she has a complete and utter friggin' meltdown. This sends her into a spiral. She convinces her brother to accompany her to get off the island, and she says, I need to find everybody else. I need to find all the other boys and girls. I need to find the lost boys. And she doesn't. She finds one and just forgets about the others. Doesn't even attempt to look. There's no looking for them. Why issue that line of dialogue? Stupid. And then she releases the Xenomorph upon these poor, innocent fucking scientists in this room for literally no reason. She's gone full evil at this point, and it's a leap which is there. It's tracking with what she's been going through the entire way through, but to just release the Xenomorph upon these people is I don't know, that doesn't ring right with me. It doesn't ring true either. And it's a logical leap from her to assume that she's openly just willing to kill people now. That's it. She's made that leap. There's no thought process behind it. She's become a murderer, as it is, and there we go. So she releases the Xenomorph, and that is how the Xenomorph basically goes around the island. She controls it. She calls it. At one point, they get cornered by soldiers, and she calls it, and it kills all the soldiers. And then we get towards the end of the episode, and they're on the boat, and this is the most ludicrous part of the entire episode, which had me rolling my eyes. There is a confrontation between the three of them, her brother, Wendy, and the red-headed girl, I honestly can't remember, the one that believed she was pregnant. And basically this whole platoon of soldiers, easily at least 20 soldiers, just surrounding this boat, and they basically start killing a couple of these soldiers. The red-headed girl kills one of the soldiers, crushes his jaw and rips it off, and in the background, miraculously in the background, the inept soldiers doing absolutely fucking nothing, not even reacting to the fact that there's three of them on the boat being destroyed by these synthetics. And you're thinking, they do say, oh no, we want them alive because they cost money and all this. Well, that's fine. But every single one of you has a friggin' taser. We know you do because we can see them. It's just doesn't make any sense, and the little confrontation looks awkward. The choreography is dreadful. The editing's really quick and choppy because they know it looks terrible, and it's not exciting. It's laughable. It's totally laughable. Not just because the guy gets his jaw ripped off and nobody does anything about it, but because it just looks awkward. It doesn't look like it's very well thought out, considering the lengths they've gone to in previous episodes to really make the atmosphere feel dark and intense and terrifying. We seem to have regressed in a way, and I don't quite understand how that's happened. There's no tension. There's no fear. There's no quality in the conflicts. Even the dialogue seems to have drifted away. We seem to be rushing through elements and then taking forever to get to others, and I can't explain that either. It really is baffling, and it shows really that this show is sort of, I don't know, against itself in terms of time, because there are moments in this episode where you're like, well, how did that happen? And one example is, and it's such an innocuous example, but it sticks out like a sore thumb. When Slightly and Smee are carrying the Doctor through, he's dead, the chestburst has come out, and it's a great little scene when the chestburst comes out. It's graphic, and it slithers away like we've seen in many of the films before. And they're carrying this dead body, which they're making such a massive meal of it because they're super strong and super efficient. We know they are. We've seen they are. The red-headed girl, she rips off the guy's jaw without any effort. And yet these two bumbling morons can't lift this guy who's dead? What? Oh, Jesus. And they're carrying this guy through the jungle, and then in the next scene, they've got him on a raft that they quite clearly made themselves using twine and bark and bamboo and whatever. Where the fuck did that come from? And it's not important, but it's such a small, innocuous thing that you go, well, where'd they get that from? Have they had time to do this? This episode's all about a race against time to get off the island or get somewhere before something else happens, and that they've had time to sit down and fucking wind twine and bark together.
Okay.
What the fuck? It's ludicrous, it's laughable, and it's those little things that are undermining this show completely towards the end. Not least, just the the fact that this communicating with the Xenomorphs is just not working for me. It really isn't working for me. It's removing all the tension, all the horror that the franchise has always been built on, like the inability to fight these things, and we're seeing that the soldiers are unable to fight these things. But what's the objective? And of course we've got one more episode to go, so I'm only sort of clutching at straws really. But what's the objective herein? Is it going to be a case of the Xenomorph is the only thing left on this island? Well, possibly, but what does that have? What kind of inclinations does that have for the wider scope of the franchise? And that's what I'm thinking. I was thinking it in the last episode. Where does this lead us going forward in the franchise? Are we just going to ignore certain aspects? Are we going to flesh out other aspects? What is it that's going to happen? And I dare say I'm less interested in that, like I've said before. I'm less interested in that than I am what happens to the Eye Octopus, because I think that is fundamentally the most interesting part of this entire show, which is weird. It's called Alien Earth, and you'd expect the Xenomorph to be the most interesting alien, and it's not. It's the Eye Octopus. And then, just going on with that, the cobbled nature of this entire episode, after it's discovered that the Xenomorph is loose, they go into full lockdown, and yet they don't do a full lockdown. There's still stuff going on. Boy Cavalier is trying to negotiate with the Eye Octopus, in the sheep, and I don't understand what they're trying to do with this. They're sending mixed messages about everything. I may be waffling here because I am still very ill.
Don't insult my intelligence.
But nothing rings true. Nothing feels right. Nothing feels like it's being earned. And you can see immediately, a mile away, what's going to happen with the Eye Octopus creature and what's going to happen with Boy Cavalier. And despite some moving forward and some revelation, especially with Kirsch, and it seems like he's been playing everybody against each other the entire time. Despite that, it's just a bit hollow, isn't it? It just feels a bit hollow, which is a shame. But we'll just have to see what happens in the final episode. Like I said, my voice is going, so I'm going to end it there. I do apologise if this has been a bit of a rambling mess, but as you can probably tell, I'm not really all with it at the moment. I'm really, really freaking struggling, and I've been for a couple of weeks now. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. For me, this series it's not declined massively. There's people out there saying they hate it. There's people out there saying they love it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think it is sitting at around 6, 7 out of 10 for me. But this episode isn't. This episode wasn't great at all. There's too many inconsistencies. There's too many stupid things going on. There's too many just jarring moments that don't look good. The ending sequence on the boat doesn't look good. And it bothers me as well that one of my favourite Queens of the Stone Age songs comes on at the end of it. It's like it was aimed at me. This ending was aimed at me going, yeah, you're going to say something about this, aren't you? Well, here's one of your favourite songs by Queens of the Stone Age. Go fuck yourself. That's what it felt like. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are you thinking about the ending for this season? Where do you think it's going to go? What plot threads do you think are going to be left open? I think there's going to be quite a fucking few that are left open, and some real questions about the wider connections to the universe. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a Predator come down in the final episode and fuck everyone up and rid us of this stupidity of all these fucking idiots on this island. Wouldn't that be fucking grand? But let me know where your thoughts are in the comment section down below. I guess I will see you on the next one, and hopefully this will be a lot better by then. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.